we had started, because I think I remember the first time I really kind of moved to New York, I ran my first marathon in the New York Marathon. And Guru had started, I think the year before, Guru had encouraged disciples to run the New York Marathon. And the marathon team had started a relationship with the New York Roadrunners Club, particularly with the president, Fred LeBeau. He really liked Guru, really liked our kind of devotion to in running, and so we always had, like, he gave us like special, we would get like special entries to the New York Marathon and stuff, and then we would also so we would have, Guru's original idea was to have like 700 runners from all over, the world, basically, from the Sri Chinmoy centers all over the world. And I don't think we ever quite got there. We got pretty close. But then also we would have usually a couple of aid stations, and actually usually Guru would be at one of the aid stations, which is usually halfway through the marathon, in Brooklyn, I think, somewhere. And then we had the day before or the night before the marathon, we would help unload all the stuff for the little gift packages and stuff and everything. And then we also had organized a crew for a cleanup in Central Park after the marathon. So it was a real team effort, and it was very, very much appreciated by the Roadrunners Club. And not only did we have a really good relationship with Fred, but also they also associate people like the vice president and so on of the club. Just a general, and I think that was what started to happen, is that we became very prominent in the kind of New York running scene. And so we kind of ran in many different races, many different clubs invited us to come and participate in their races, and they really appreciated that we, helped out with things, and also had a lot of participants to come and running in their races. So it was kind of a really special thing, I think, that we did. I mean, one of the biggest things was that we had heard about, I think I mentioned about the 100-mile race, and we had heard about this Greek runner that had run this famous race in Greece and run it faster than anyone else ever had done before. And so the Roadrunners Club decided to organize a 6-day race, which was like the first time in almost 100 years that there had been a 6-day race event, because they used to be back at the turn of the 19th century, 20th century kind of thing. And this was going to happen on at Downing Stadium on Randall's Island. And so again, Guru wanted us to become involved with it, and we actually were the whole counting section for the race itself. It was on a 400-meter track, and so we got to kind of meet this guy, hear something about it, and but again, as I'd said before, when Guru had seen the 100-mile race, he got inspired to have the 47-mile race on his birthday. Guru then liked the whole idea of these 6-day races, these multi-day races. So he wanted us, as the marathon team, to organize a multi-day race. But out of respect for Fred and the New York Roadrunners Club, he didn't want to have another 6-day race. So the first multi-day race that we did was a 5-day race. And I was very fortunate enough to participate in it. But I'd never done it. The most I think I had done before was maybe a 24-hour race. So for me, it was a new experience as well. And there were only, I think, maybe like 12 or 13 runners. We got a few runners from the UK. We got one guy, from New Zealand. But the rest of them mainly were American. And I had no idea how to participate in this. But Guru would come out every day and cheer us on and everything. But then, I think on the third day of the race, he was actually supposed to go to the UK to give a peace concert at the Albert Hall, and so Guru actually showed up on the morning before he was going to leave, and he gave every runner a pair of running shoes. So that was a really special gift as well. And then and it was just a whole new experience. I mean, it was very, very basic. We didn't have as many years later. We have like big medical facility. But, you know, we just had a very small counting station with a couple of counters. There was like a very, very small space where you could like rest if you needed rest, or do medical, which medical we didn't have usually during the day. It was just someone could come in the evening, and basically all our runners sort of had a tent that they would sleep in, and again, I had no idea how to handle this kind of thing, you know. But the disciples that were there were encouraging like anything. I learned a lot from talking with other runners that were a little bit more experienced, and I had some crazy injuries that I didn't even know what they were, so I just kept going. And this kind of like, in a sense, taught me this thing of no matter how hard it is, no matter how much you suffer, you have to keep going. And I think it's a real lesson in life, you know, spiritual life especially, that, you know, even if you feel like you're making slow progress, you have to keep going, you know. And this is what Guru is always telling us, you know. And one of the things, I mean, I didn't really know, but one of the things that, as I said, some of these experiences told me is, they said, if you can average 50 miles a day, then, you know, that's a pretty good standard. And so over the 5 days, although it was really hard at the end, I managed to do 262 miles. So that was more than 50 miles a day.